let's walk through the dark. Nothing to lose, nothing had been lost. All this to say, I love you till my dying day. I took a picture of a picture, just a snapshot of memory caught in time. Well, you've been feeling broken, love's been on my mind. Hey everybody, Lucas Haneman here. Welcome to this week's episode of Guitar Tone Tuesday. Hope you guys are doing well. Now, before we get to this week's episode, which is a very exciting one, I am going to let you guys know the big reveal from last week's blind tasting episode, the Taylor 914 flagship guitar versus the Eastman AC 222 CE. What we have is guitar number 1, Taylor. Guitar number 2, Eastman. So, both guitars sound very good. Many people remarked that they thought the Eastman was the Taylor, and I'm not surprised. I mean, for its price, it sounds absolutely fantastic, and I'd actually say regardless of price, it sounds absolutely fantastic. And of course, the Taylor, just full of overtones and beautiful bass and all that kind of stuff. So, there we go, that's that. So, today we're going to talk about the guitars and gear of Painting Stars, the new album by the LH Express, which is coming out a month from today on June 2nd. For those of you who are in town, we're doing a CD release party at Irene's Pub, downtown Ottawa, at 9 p.m. that night. And for those of you who are from out of town, we do have an Indiegogo campaign going on. So you can pre-order the album and get many other perks as well. So I'll put that info in the description box down below. But I thought we'd talk about some of the gear because I'm really, really excited about this album. It's a shift for the band. It's the first album where my beautiful wife, Megan, sings lead vocals on half the album. So with that, we thought we'd simplify the band name to L for Megan Lawrence, H for Lucas Haneman, Express. As opposed to the Lucas Haneman Express, which it was in the past. So, this guitar right here that's in my lap is my beautiful Melanson Vintage Artist Strat style guitar. For those of you who've been following the channel for a long time, you've seen this guitar a lot. This is my number 1. This is my baby. But it definitely got lots of use on the album. Our prior album, Cash the Westbound, it was pretty much the main guitar on the entire thing. Now, on this album, I'd say I used it as the main guitar on about 3 of the 10 songs, and I used it for quite a few guitar solos and things like that. It's just an amazing guitar. It sounds fantastic. It's just a beast of a Strat. It really sounds fat, it sounds articulate, it sounds vintage to me, and I just love it. It's still my number 1. But, all that being said, albums are fun things, and you don't always want to use one guitar for everything. So on this album, I did a lot of experimenting, actually. And one of the other guitars I used was a guitar that I didn't have at the recording phase for our previous album, but I acquired right when we were about to release it. This guitar right here, which is my Melanson Telly, which the late great Gerard Melanson called this a custom artist T. Now this guitar is a little bit bigger sounding than the Strat. The pickups are just slightly higher output. They're still very low output, but slightly higher output. And it's got a little bit of that girthier, Telecaster sound. There's a lot of swampy, kind of funky blues stuff on this album. And one of my favorite things is that I use this guitar for some of the funky stuff on the in-between position, with both pickups on. And it sounds great for that kind of thing. So, this type of sound. this guitar actually got used as the main guitar. That's a tune called Rising from the Dead. It got used as the main guitar on about, I want to say 4 songs on the album, actually. And, you know, one thing that's really cool about this guitar is it's amazing for slide playing. So I used it for some of the slide guitar work. Let's see here. Stuff like that. It's really, really great for that kind of thing. So very useful guitar. I mean, I'd say that you could play anything on a Telecaster, right? It's just a versatile guitar. So one of my favorites that got a lot of use on the album. I'm just going to cycle through about 4 of the guitars today that I used on the album that I thought were kind of standouts. Now, for a lot of the guitar solos, I wanted to go for humbuckers on this album. So I went for my beloved Eastman T185 MX. Now this guitar sounds amazing, clean, definitely sounds great with overdrive. And I use this guitar for a lot of stuff actually on the album. There's a song called Getaway that has a lot of multi-layered tracks on Telly, this guitar, and then also, I don't know if you guys remember that Reverend East Sider S that I did a video on a while ago. Well, when I had that guitar here, I was actually still tracking the album, so I recorded a solo on that guitar because it was really inspiring. But yeah, this guitar, you know, it's amazing. You know, when you see a guitar like this, you kind of think instantly, oh, it's a jazzy guitar, right? But really, to me, it's one of the most versatile things. And if I just turn this pedal off here, one thing that I really enjoyed about this is, you know, this guitar with a little bit of trem, you know, can do a wonderful it sounds amazing for that kind of stuff. It also really is great for the kind of heavier, riffy kind of stuff. I keep taking picks out of my pocket. I'm going to have a pile of picks underneath me soon. So like, you know, stuff like this. You know, there's a lot of that kind of rock, funky rock attitude stuff, I guess, on this album. It's a really fun album, and this guitar was a big part of it. I think I used this guitar in about 4 songs as well, you know, 3 or 4, something like that. So it's a big contender. Now, there is some lighter stuff on the album, not super light, you know, but kind of powerful blues ballady kind of stuff. And one thing that's kind of fun is that, I don't know if you guys remember, early this year, we did a video on Nashville tuning. And we were recording the title track of the album called Painting Stars, which is a song that features Megan, by the way. And I took out this guitar, and it's not the main guitar on the album. I'm just turning off this amp here. It's not the main guitar on the album, or on the song, I'm sorry. But it definitely makes for a special effect when you do get the album in about a month. This guitar really makes that song shimmer. It adds that shimmery effect, and I think it's pretty cool. So if you picture that kind of a sound with some slide guitar on top, you know, it's kind of this almost like a Bonnie Raitt, Tedeschi Trucks kind of style of tune. And this is just a texture in that song. But man, it really added a lot, and the producer couldn't get over the sound of this thing. And I got to say, the Nashville thing, it's just been really inspiring me. I've written a couple things with it now, and it's a nice tracking guitar, nice studio guitar, you know, for those purposes. I also used a little parlor guitar made by Peggy White, which is one of my favorites. I used my Holly acoustic guitar, which is a Dreadnought, and I also used a resonator guitar, my Gretsch 9220 resonator, which we're going to feature again on the show soon, but for a different reason, so stay tuned for that. So yeah, I just wanted to walk you guys through some of this album, some of the guitars and gear. I often used this Vintage Sound Vintage 20 Princeton reverb style clone. I used 1962 Fender Princeton, all original, non-reverb amp. I used my Kingsley Bailey 30, which is a beautiful EL84 style amp for a lot of stuff. I used lots of Trevor Mays pedals. I used a couple of them. I used my Kingsley Minstrel overdrive pedal for a lot of it too. But I tried to keep the electric guitar sounds pretty raw, you know, and pretty natural. Like, I tried on this album to not use too many modulation effects. Like, I used a wah-wah pedal once, like in the entire album, you know, and I used maybe a little bit of Leslie simulator, things like that, but not much. It's all very natural sounds. We recorded the entire thing here in this room, actually. Use these drums, you know, use Martin's bass amp back there. It's very much live off the floor, except the vocals were overdubbed and there's some extra guitar overdubs and stuff, but it really has that live feel. I truly think it's the best album that we've made so far. So as I say, I'm going to put the info in the description box below for how you guys can pre-order it. And yeah, June 2nd, we can't wait. 10 amazing songs. I'm super proud of it, and really happy to have Megan featured more on the album as well, because people have been asking for it, and I think it's about time, you know. She just sounds so great. She sounds so great. So in closing, I just want to say, rest in peace, Gordon Lightfoot, an amazing Canadian singer-songwriter. For those of you who know, I'm sure you guys know Gordon Lightfoot. I just found out last night about him passing away. It's so sad, you know, but his music will live on, and I want you guys to let me know in the comment section down below your favorite Gordon Lightfoot song. Please do stay tuned until next week, and until then, stay well. We'll see everybody again next Tuesday.